Hi everyone, I'm Diane Kelly, and I'm the author of the Busted series, which stars female motorcycle cops. And they're funny books, even though there's some high stakes crime and criminals and hijinks going on. But basically, I guess you could say I put the ha-ha and the wah-ha-ha. But I'm here tonight to tell you about something a little more eerie that happened to me personally. So when I was 9 years old, we moved from Alabama to Austin, Texas, to the suburbs. And my parents bought a brand new house. No one had ever lived in it, just typical suburban home. And we'd lived there a few weeks. I shared a bedroom with my sister, who's a year older than me. And we had a bunch of games and stuff up in our closet, pushed back on the shelf. And in the middle of the night, all these games just come tumbling down, and we hear crash, crash, crash in our closet. And Dawn and I both sit up in our beds and look over each other, and we're like, what was that? It sounded like it was coming from the closet. So we went in there, all these games had fallen. And, of course, we're blaming each other. You didn't, put them up there good enough. You didn't, push them back. But we both knew we had put them up there and pushed them back on the shelf. So that was the first odd thing that happened. Then a few months later, I had one of those old-fashioned tape recorders, those kind of rectangular ones that had all the buttons on the end. And I had it lying on my sister's bed, and I was sitting on my bed, and I was listening to some music. And I decided, I need to flip it over. It got to the end of the cassette, and so I got up, started walking across the room to flip it over. And about halfway there, I had this moment where I just felt very kind of dizzy and lightheaded. And then as that went away and I continued walking, the second side of the cassette started playing. Somehow it had gotten flipped over while I was not conscious of what was going on. So that was the second weird thing that happened. Then, time went on. Things kept happening like that where things would fall. But the next big event was one day I had been at my friend Stephanie's house. And at the time I was in band, I played flute. And my sister Donna, the one that was a year older than me, was home alone, or not alone. But I came home from Stephanie's house, and when I came in the front door and Donna saw me walked in, she leapt off the couch. Her eyes were huge, and she said, "Weren't you just upstairs playing your flute?" And I said, "No, because I didn't practice my flute." I wasn't serious about band. I said, "No," and she said, "Yes, you were. I just heard you. I heard the flute playing, and I yelled at you to shut the door, and you shut the door." I said, "Donna, I haven't been here. I've been at Stephanie's all this time." So she was just beside herself with this. And things like this continue to go on over the years, but we never said much about it to other people because we didn't want people thinking we'd gone nuts. Well, then we finally said something, to our mother and kind of talked to her about it. And she said that there had been several times that she had been home alone and walking up the stairs to go put laundry away or whatever, and she would hear doors close. So she would just turn around and come back downstairs. And also my mother's bedroom is downstairs, and the kitchen is a little further back, and she has a night light that she keeps on in the kitchen, and she says at night sometimes she'll see a shadow walk by, like something is going by there. And of course, like I said, we didn't tell anyone outside the family that this was going on because it was just kind of weird. But my aunt came to visit one time, not too long ago, maybe 10 years ago, and she was staying upstairs, and she went down and told my mother, "I just heard someone say my name." And she said, "Something is in this house." So we don't know what it was. She thought it might have been my father who's deceased. We're not sure about that. But we also didn't tell our children, I didn't tell my children about this because I didn't want them to be afraid to stay in my mother's house. Because even though something is there, it doesn't seem to be, to have bad intentions. But it does want to make itself known. So to me, that's kind of creepy. There's times I've settled down in bed, and you kind of feel the covers settling down on you, and then a few seconds later you feel them settling again, as if somebody has sat down and kind of rearranged the shape. And my daughter, before I had told her that we had sent something there, one morning she got up and she said, "I had the weirdest dream." And she said, "Then I was trying to sit up in bed and I couldn't even sit up. It felt like something was pushing on my chest." And I was like, "Okay, Lindsay, I have to tell you there's something that lives in Graham's house. We don't know what it is." So that has been my experience with the paranormal. We still don't know what this thing is. We're afraid to reach out to it anymore to try to connect because we don't know what it is, but it does make itself known when we stay there. So it's always a little disconcerting to go stay at my mother's house. So anyway, I'm thrilled to be on Scream. I hope you'll check out my books, the Busted series, Busted, Another Big Bust and Busting Out. They're all about rough and tumble female motorcycle cops who know how to get their man. So enjoy.